Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode brought to you by Double Sleeved. Today we're going to be starting off our deck ideas segment for Ultimate Squad, kicking things off with Dr. Myuu and General Rildo. For those that are new to the channel, we're going to be going through all the leaders in the upcoming set Ultimate Squad to give you a bit of a base point on what a complete deck might look like. So if there's any leaders that you are interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date of when your favorite leader comes out. But kicking things off, we've got Dr. Myuu and General Rildo. Pretty standard 10k leader. Auto, when this card attacks, play up to one red machine mutant card with an energy cost of 1 from your hand. And we have an awaken of when our life is at 4 or less. Or you choose 3 cards from under a Super Sigma card in your battle area and place them under this card. We get to draw one, switch one of our energy to active mode, and then add cards from our life to our hand until we have 6 left over, and then flip this card. Onto the Awakened side, Dr. Myuu and Hyper Meta Rildo, rulers of planet M2, 15k auto once per turn. When you activate Evolve or Union Absorb, we get to draw 1 card. And then we have an auto, when this card attacks, play up to 1 red machine mutant with an energy cost of 1 from our hand, so similar to the Unawakened side. And then we've got the Activate Battle once per turn. Place 1 card from under this card in its owner's drop area, and then this card gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. So we can do this on either player's turn, which is good, whether we need it offensively or defensively. But being able to play the 1 red machine mutant with our energy cost of 1 from our hand is really good. As we jump into the battle cards in the deck, you'll see that there's a lot of cards that we can play that do search from the deck. So it's essentially a draw 1, but we are just establishing that card on the field. Starting off, we have Nezzy, combination ready. It's a 4k 1 cost machine mutant with barrier. Union Absorb once per turn for 1 red energy. We get to choose 1 Bizu or 1 Rabbit card from your hand and or battle area and place them under this card. And then we get to play up to 1 Super Sigma card from your deck or drop area on top of this card, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. And then we've got the auto, if your leader is a Dr. Myuu card. When this card is played from your hand, add up to 1 Bizu card from your deck or drop area to your hand, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So being able to attack and then play this card, search the deck and grab another piece that we're going to be using for the Union Absorb is really good. It makes it quite consistent, being able to search through the deck for the pieces that we need. Then we've got Bizu, combination ready. 5k 1 drop. So auto, if your leader card is a Dr. Myuu card, when this card is played from your hand, add up to 1 Rabbit card from your deck or drop area and then shuffle your deck. And then we've got the Rabbit as well. When it gets played, we get to add up 1 Nezzy from the deck or drop area. So each one searches out a different piece, but in combination with one another, we're able to find all the pieces quite easily. Now, we can use the Union Absorb on the Nezzy to go into the 4-cost Super Sigma combining warrior. It's 20k barrier blocker. Auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card, then choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 10,000 power for the turn. And then activate battle, 2 red energy, so we get to choose 1 Nezzy, 1 Bizu and 1 Rabbit card from your hand and or battle area and place them in the owner's drop area, and then we get to play this card from your drop area. So pretty handy if the opponent is able to remove this after you establish it using the Union Absorb. We do have another option to kind of play this card out. We're going to be playing these 1-drop machine mutants quite easily off our leader and paying 1 energy. That we're able to establish them again and then just pay the 2 energy to play this card if we need to. But you do want to be aiming for the Union Absorb on Nezzy to be able to get the cards underneath and then use that to awaken. But a couple of different options there and a lot of synergy within this deck. Next we have General Rildo, combination ready, a 1-drop 4k Union Absorb once per turn for 2 red energy. Choose 1 Super Sigma card in your battle area or drop area and place it under this card. Play up to 1 General Rildo card with an energy cost of 5 from your deck or hand on top of this card, and then shuffle your deck if you look through it. And when this card is played, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 machine mutant card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Again, another 1-drop machine mutant that we're able to play that searches the top 5 to essentially replace itself. So our leader is in some way getting a draw, but it's just a bit more of a search for the pieces that we need. And then another Union Absorb to get that extra draw on the Awakened side. And again, yeah, we're able to play the pieces from the drop area or our battle area So it gives you access to a lot of different areas rather than just what's in your hand, which is really good. And then we have General Rildo Battle on Planet M2, another 1-drop Machine Mutant, 4k, Union Absorb once per turn for 2 red energy again. Choose 1 Super Sigma card in your battle area or drop area and place it under this card. And then we get to play up to 1 General Rildo with an energy cost of 5 from the deck or hand on top, and then shuffle the deck if you look through it. And this card, when it's played, we get to draw 1 card. So very similar to the other General Rildo that we went over, but this one being able to draw 1 card rather than search top 5. And then being able to play some various different 5-drop Metal Rildos from the deck. We've got Hyper Metal Rildo Combined Power. It's a 25k blocker, evolve for 1 red energy over a Super Sigma. And then we've got the auto. If your leader card is a Dr. Myuu card, when this card is played, you may draw 1 card. If you don't, activate up to 1 Planet M2 from your deck and then shuffle your deck. And we've got an activate battle once per turn. Place 1 card from under this card in its owner's drop area, and then you may choose one of your opponent's battle cards, add it to your life. If you do, switch this card to active mode. I don't see too many people using this effect a whole lot. You don't want to be giving your opponent life, but I guess if you are desperate for the blocker, that is another option there. But it is just a 5-drop Meta Rildo that we're able to play off the 1-drops. And then another one that I think is probably a bit more of a better option is the General Evolved Hyper Meta Rildo. It's a 25k double strike. When you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they lose minus 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. And when this card attacks, we get to choose up to 1 of our opponent's battle cards with 10,000 power or less and KO that card. So probably a bit more of a better option, being able to play it, give everything neg 10, and then attacking, give something else neg 10. But just being a 25k double strike and being able to put that pressure on our opponent is probably a bit better than the 25k blocker. Now, we do have the field card Mechanized Planet that is essentially referenced in the 5-drop Meta Rildo. Since this card is also treated as Planet M2 in all areas, there is another Planet M2 field card that is from set 3, I believe, that you can use as well, but we've gone with this one. Auto, if your leader is a Dr. Myuu card, when this card is placed in your battle area, draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand. We do have a lot of synergy with the drop area, so we can set up the cards that we need to use for our Union Absorbs from the drop area, but being able to draw 2 is good. And then activate battle, switch this card to rest mode, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 1000 power for the turn. Can be quite handy if our opponent's swinging with things that are 20k or 15k. It can essentially work as a 5k combo, which is pretty good, being able to do this on either player's turn, whether we're swinging into a battle card or whether a battle card is swinging into us. We can always get that minus 1000 power. Moving into some of the bigger Meta Rildos that we have in the deck, we've got the 7-cost Meta Rildo Form Perfected. Now it's a 30k 7-drop. EX Evolve for 1 red energy. Place 1 card from your hand in your drop area, and then we get to EX Evolve over a red General Rildo with an energy cost of 5 or more. So the 2 that we previously just went over. This is Double Strike with an activate main once per turn. Place 1 Planet M2 from your hand or battle area in the drop area. We get to draw 2 cards, then choose your opponent's leader card and it loses 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Then choose all of your opponent's battle cards and they lose 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. So pretty good being able to minus on your opponent's leader if we're able to do this activate main as the first play of the turn, and then everything else that we can swing with for the turn. Our opponent's essentially going to need to combo an extra 5k each attack if they don't want to be taking that damage, but being a 30k double strike is nothing to sneeze at either. And then the other 7-drop Meta Rildo Ascended General. This one is also a 30k double strike. It has barrier and blocker. That's again an EX Evolve for 1 red energy over a General Rildo with an energy cost of 5 or more. With an activate battle, if it's your opponent's turn and you place 1 card from under this card in its owner's drop area, we get to switch this card to active mode and it gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. So giving us the ability to block twice if we do a Union Absorb or EX Evolve into this card. But generally you want to be swinging with your double strikes, you want to be putting pressure on your opponent, but it's good to have that option there if we do need to play a bit more defensive. And then going into the unison for the deck, we've got Baby Juvenile Parasite, a 3-cost 10k unison coming out in the upcoming set. Now it's a permanent. If your leader card is red and if all of your energy is in rest mode, your leader card gets plus 1000 power, which is really strong. It's essentially a bean if our opponents swing with a whole lot of 15Ks, which we don't see too much at the moment. We're seeing a lot of big, strong battle cards, but being able to get that 10,000 power if we do that 1,000 power if we do tap out is always better than not getting it. Permanent, if this card would lose a marker from your opponent's attack, you may place one card from under this card in its owner's drop area instead. Really strong effect to kind of keep this unison around. Being a 10k, it can be easily removed by a lot of different battle cards and unisons and leader cards that we have at the moment. They're all going to be pretty much stronger than 10k to put a lot of pressure on this unison, but giving us another option to keep it alive. And we get cards underneath this by doing the +1 activate main. We get to draw one card and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it under this card. And then this card gets plus 10,000 power for the turn. So it gives us the ability to attack with this unison, making it a 20k, but being able to remove our opponent's battle cards just for the +1, which also gives us another way to maintain markers on the unison is really good. So we can remove our opponent's threats, remove them from the game completely by putting it under the unison, so they're not going to the drop area and giving them fuel for overwhelm and things like that. But yeah, pretty cool. The artwork on it's really cool. A big fan of Baby and the Machine Mutants, so nice to see that it's getting a bit more support. And then since we're playing a 3-cost unison, we had to go with Vidal Encountering Danger to counterplay. 10k, you can't activate counterplay skills on other cards this turn if we activate it, and we get to play the card. If you have a red unison with a specified cost of 3 or more in play, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost, and then it has an auto spirit boost 1 if your leader is red or a heroine card. When this card is played, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and they get minus 20,000 power for the turn. So really good defensively to be able to minus our opponent's battle cards once they enter play. King Piccolo, New Ruler, has to go in every red deck that's playing a unison at this point. It's obviously got the limit to 1. It's a double strike 15k permanent. If your leader is red, this card gets plus 5,000 power and your opponent can't activate blocker in response to this card's attack. And if we have the red unison with 3 or more markers on it, we get to play this card from our hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. And then at the end of the turn, it gets sent to the warp. So being able to play the 3-cost unison that does +1, and we can remove cards from underneath it to maintain those markers, means that we're more than likely going to have the unison available for this card. Super combo, Raditz Saiyan Youth. It's pretty standard super combo. If your life is at 4 or less and all your energy is red, when this card is used in a combo, it gets plus 10,000 power, and we get to choose one card from our hand, place it at the bottom of the deck, and draw 2 new cards. Just a little cheeky tech, we've got Vow Revenge, another card from, this one was from set 4. So it's a 0-cost extra card with an activate main. If your leader is a red Machine Mutant, we get to choose up to one of our opponent's battle cards, and it loses minus 15,000 power for the duration of the turn. So pretty cool to remove any kind of 15k threat that we have on the field, or if there's anything that's stronger than that 20-25k, it gives us the option to neg it and then potentially swing into it if we want to remove it. Violent Rays, a really strong extra card that we're seeing kind of become a bit more relevant again now, with Gogeta running around. We've got the counter attack. If your leader is red, negate the attack, and you may choose one card in your hand and discard it. If you do choose one, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with 20,000 power or more for the turn, or your opponent can't attack with unisons with 20,000 power or more for the turn. Pretty standard in a lot of red decks now, similar to testing the opposition, which is the counterattack. If your leader is red, negate the attack, play one Cyberman token. These tokens have 5,000 power and 5,000 combo power, and that token gains blocker for the turn. And if our life is at 5 or less, we can activate the counter on this card by adding one card from our life to our hand, and we can use it without paying its energy cost. Frieza's Death Ball, an activate main. If your leader is red, choose up to one of your leader cards or battle cards, and they get plus 15,000 power for the duration of the battle. And if all of your energy is red, we can choose one of our opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and it gets minus 10,000 power for the duration of the battle. We've got a lot of 25k and 30k double strikers in the deck, so being able to get them up to 40k or 45k double strike and neg our opponent's leader can really put a lot of pressure on our opponent and kind of force that damage through. Also being able to give our leader that plus 5,000 power for the turn, if we're able to slap this on and give it double strike, again, puts our opponent in a position where it's going to be extremely difficult to combo out. And if we are able to get our opponent down to that 1 life, we can always play the secret rare, the activate main for 4 red energy. Play this card from your hand and you have one of your opponent's leader cards get minus 5,000 power for the turn. And then the activate main, remove this card from the game, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and unison cards, ignoring barrier, place them in the owner's drop area, and then we get to place 1 card from our opponent's life in the drop area. And if that's not enough, it's a 40k ultimate deflect triple strike with dual attack if we do happen to get that sparking 25. But being able to pretty much crit our opponent's life if they do go down to 1 for 4 energy is extremely good, but also the other effects of this card are just incredible as well. It's definitely the best red SCR that we have available, but that's the deck. I'm really looking forward to playing it and testing out some of these cards a bit more in person, but let me know in the comments what you think of the deck, if it's one that you're excited for or if you're looking more at the GT Goku, and we'll definitely see you next time.